Hello, Flosstube. This is Leslie from Under the Sea Fabrics. It is Friday, I think, October 12th? October 12th. It's been a while since I posted a video, so I kind of have a lot to say. It might end up in two parts, and I'm sorry it's been so long. Life around here has been crazy. That's just the best explanation I have. First thing I want to say, for those of you who are on my Facebook page and Facebook friends with me and whatever, you know that my dog Toby got sick last week, and oh, that was frightening. He's only 5 years old, and he had hemorrhagic gastroenteritis and pancreatitis, which beagles are prone to, and we didn't know that, and it just... The vet bills, we cleared out our savings for the initial stuff, and then we ended up doing a GoFundMe, and to everybody who donated to the GoFundMe, I cannot tell you how much I appreciate it. Toby is doing very well. You'll probably hear him whining behind me in the background, because he does that occasionally if we don't give him enough attention. So I just wanted to say thank you to anyone who donated, even if you didn't donate, if you shared the link, or just sent good well wishes and prayers or anything. We are just so appreciative. We're so happy he's doing better. He ended up having to have blood transfusions, and he was in doggy ICU for 3 days, and he lost so much blood and so much water out of his system that he lost 4 pounds in like 3 days. So that's a lot when you're a 35-pound dog. So he lost, more than 10% of his body weight in 3 days. And we were all just terrified. And now, it was almost worse because I was away. I wasn't home. I was on a trip. I had 2 retreats last month, but in the last 3 weeks I've had 2 retreats, and they were one right on top of the other, on the other side, like up in the Midwest, so way far away from Texas. So I did the 2 weeks away from home, and it was just... It happened like the second week I was gone, and yeah, my husband and I ended up having that talk. How much are we willing to spend on a dog? How much can we afford to spend? So everybody who helped, we appreciate you. We didn't expect to have that conversation anytime soon, especially not about Toby. Sadie is 10, 11, questionable years old. And we thought we would be having a conversation about her and not him. So, like I said, thank you to everybody. I cannot be more grateful. We plan to send out thank you notes here in the next couple of weeks after I get caught up with the orders from while I was gone for the retreat. Alright, now Under the Sea Fabric stuff. Number 1, the March Aquamarine Fairy bead packs from Mirabilia have finally shipped to me. I know they've been back ordered for a couple of months. They were waiting for one bead to come in. And to be honest, I order so many in a go because so many of you like to get them from me, which I appreciate, don't get me wrong, that we tend to overwhelm Witchell when I send in that kind of order, and they just ran out of the beads. So now they're on their way to me, so I will have them soon, middle of next week probably. Next, I did not make a video in August, I don't think, so I have 2 fabric of the months to show you. I have the August fabric of the month to show you, and I have October's. I didn't have one in September because I was traveling. So first, let me show you August. It's called Anubis. It is a gold and brown. This is what it looks like on linen. This is the piece I kept for myself. I don't usually keep pieces for myself, but I kept this one for me. And I'll show you the pattern I have in mind for it in a minute. So this is what it looks like on linen. It's a gold base with brown. The reason I call it Anubis is the one of the Egyptian gods of the dead, because the ancient Egyptians revered their dead. So, and they took very good care of them. So they had many gods to take care of them, and Anubis was one of them. And Anubis was depicted as having, in some artwork, as having the head of a jackal. And I just thought this pattern looked very like the coat of a jackal, like the brindle coat of a jackal. So that's where the name came from. So this is linen. This is what it looks like on the Ghana. Still very pretty, much lighter, but still pretty. So there we go. Let me put those up. So that was August. Usually when I do these fabrics, I can tell which ones are going to end up going into the main line at the end of the year, and I'm pretty sure this one will be. I think this one's going to be a winner. Okay, this month's, October's fabric of the month, is called Astraeus. This is what it looks like on linen. You can see it's like a pale purple with a dark purple on top. Astraeus is the Greek god of the of dusk. So that's kind of what I was looking for, like what it looks like right after sunset. So I thought that was a good Halloween-y color, but I just love how it came out on linen. Let's see. That's the linen. This is what it looks like on Aida. Comes out very pretty on Aida. So many fabrics dye prettiest on Aida. Sometimes I dye and stitch on Aida because they come out so pretty. And then this is what it looks like on Evenly. Much lighter, but still pretty. Okay. So, under the sea fabrics, more business. I think I only have a little bit left on my list. Number one, I am working on the anniversary sale orders. I've also put painted fabrics back on the website. We have my studio all set up in the garage, so now that is all set to go, so you can do painted fabrics. There is a warning that it can take up to 6 weeks for painted fabrics because they have to be washed, like painted fabrics have to be washed like on like, and it's a large waste of water just to dye one piece. So I try not to do that. And honestly, if you order a piece of fabric and it seems like it's taken 2 or 3 weeks and it's longer than you would want, I'm probably waiting for someone else to order a light color so I don't run the wash, because it has to be washed 2 times. So I'm not running the wash for just one piece of fabric because it can, I don't know, it's just a water conservation. It's just a water conservation thing for me. So that's just a fair warning, but they are up on the website. Zeus's Domain and Darkness Falls are the 2 that seem to be ordered the most. So those are the ones that I paint the most. So those go out the quickest just because they get ordered the most. I'm still working on sale orders from the anniversary sale. I have 2 big wholesale orders to do that I'll be working on here in the next week. I plan to have those out. I just got a shipping notice for fabric of the month. I was a moron, and I say a moron. I don't know if it's moronic or if I just hit a button. I don't know what I did, but when I went to order the fabric for fabric of the month on the 1st, instead of ordering like the amount I needed, I ordered 1 yard of each count. So when I got the shipping notice, I'm like, oh, that box is very light. Is everything back ordered? No, nothing was back ordered. I have no idea how I managed that, but I did. And so the second order of fabric is shipped out today, so it'll be here in the middle of next week. So I'm hoping it doesn't take me too long to get caught up. Who knows? Who knows? Dog trouble, house is a mess, but because that's running a little late, it gives me a few days leeway to get these wholesale orders done and on their way. So maybe it just worked out for the best. I don't know. I guess we'll find out. Yeah. Excuse me. This is one of the beers I bought when I was on my trip. I don't even know. It's called Nebulosity Hazy IPA from... Where's it brewed at? Cincinnati, from Taft's Brewing in Cincinnati, Ohio. I drank a lot of Cincinnati beer while I was traveling. Alright, up next. First, I have 3 finishes, technically 4, but you'll see what I mean. But I only have 1 whip, so I'm going to show my whip first, and then my finishes. So, the first whip I have is, the only whip I have, is this pumpkin. I met the lovely Janice Note from the Noteworthy Needle at the Cross Stitch Club retreat in Hershey, Pennsylvania this year. And if you bought the pattern for a pumpkin, she would drill it so you could cross stitch it. So you can see I got started on it. I ran out of this thread. I bought 2 cards and then I gave a card away without thinking about it, and then I went to keep going. I was like, oh, I'm out of that thread. And I have some in my stash upstairs, so I'll probably finish this weekend. But it will say Boo, and then the bottom will be like this green sparkly acrylic I used. So I like this one. My pattern also has a skull in it that I'm thinking might be the next one. That'll be the one I experiment with drilling the pumpkin myself. And I might do it in lots of colors, like a sugar skull. I live in San Antonio. Sugar skulls and Deus Delis Mortis are important here. So I think I'm going to do the other one as a sugar skull. So that's my only whip. I say my only. It's the only active whip I have going. I plan to start something new tonight, and then something new tomorrow. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, finishes. Let me show you my finishes to start. This one, another pumpkin. Oh, it's kind of hard to see because of the light. It's pie symbol. I made pumpkin pie. Ha 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 ha. This is another one from Janice. And this thread is sparkly, but it also glows in the dark. So I stitched it in the pumpkin. My friend Susan Coates, thank you so much for giving me tips and advice when I was working on this last weekend. So that's what I did. After I finished stitching, because there's no way to tie off. I just left my threads dangling, and then earlier today I took some needlework finisher glue. That's what this looks like. I'm sorry, I'm sitting here with the window open to have better light. If it's closed, I get terrible light. It's just, yeah. Needlework finisher glue. It's very much like Eileen's tacky glue. I like this one because it feels like it dries a little faster. And it's a little easier for me to get off my hands because when I finish stuff, I end up with glue everywhere. So, I like that stuff. But, I just smeared it over the back of the stitching and then I glued the top back on the pumpkin. So, I really like how that came out. I realized a little while ago that I did a couple of rows where the stitches go the wrong way, but I don't care. I wasn't pulling it out. I'd already started gluing and I was like, oh, well, those will just go the wrong way. And it does glow in the dark. A group of us went out when we were at the retreat this weekend after I finished it. We all went out on the little balcony in the dark to see it glowing in the dark. So it does glow in the dark. My second and third finish, they go hand in hand. I finished Sirena. This is by Lilas Studio. I stitched it on Chesapeake Bay, Opalescent, Edinburgh from Under the Sea Fabrics, obviously. And I used all the called for threads. The only thing I changed was her skin color was an overdye, and I switched it to a plain DMC. And the reason I say this is 2 finishes, because I also stitched, it's called a Hoibit by Hands-On Design Squareology on a scrap piece. So this finish, this cutting board, it's a cutting board that came from Target. So it was, I don't know, $15 at Target, and I just cut a piece of mat board the size for her, and I wrapped her around it, and you can, she's just a little crooked, and I realized after I glued it on, I said, it's not a big deal. And then I did this as a little flat fold ornament and just put it through the hole. So I plan to ask the framer at my stitch shop to put hanging wire on it so that I can hang it. Right now they're just setting it in, like a stand, like a picture frame stand. So it's on display at Stitches from the Heart in San Antonio if you want to see it up close. And then my last finish, I just finished today, so if you're on my Instagram or my Facebook, you saw this today. This is Cast a Spell. Might be Casting a Spell. Casting a Spell by Blackboard Designs. It is stitched on Autumn Belfast. So, Autumn's the color name. I used all the called for colors. I really love how it came out. So the way I finished this, I didn't follow the instructions in the book because the book suggested like these guys go around like Jello pudding packages, and then you make pillows out of these, and these go in there flat. So that's not how I did it. The way I did it was I bought foam core and cut it to the right size. And then I put batting on it because I like when I do ornaments and stuff for them to be soft on the outside. I don't like them to be really flat, so I always use batting. And then I pinned these on there and glued around. I ended up leaving the pins on because the pins don't show. And so I could either sit there and like plop them all out or just leave them, and I just left them. I'm not worried about it. So the last thing about this is that you can see how all of them are a different height. So these are flush to the bottom of the box. These come up about 1/2 inch and these come up 1 inch. The way I did that was I bought, do I have a piece? I had a piece sitting, oh, it's right here. At Joann's, I bought this 1/2 inch foam. It's meant to be like covers for chairs and stuff. So I bought a 1/2 inch. I bought a whole yard. I don't know why. Every time I go there, I think I could buy it. I'll just buy a whole yard and I'll have it if I need it, and it'll go in a pile of random craft stuff. When really I could have bought 6 inches. So however much of a yard that is, like 1/6 of a yard, whatever. And had plenty, because this is left over from cutting, and I cut, you know, a ton of pieces out of it. So the way I did it was under these elevated ones, there's only one piece of foam, and then under these there are 2. So these are raised 1 inch and these are raised 1/2 inch. Just to give it a little dimension. The box is a box from Hobby Lobby, which is not my favorite place, but that's the only place you can buy the box. So I just dealt with it. I don't share the values of the company, I'll just say it like that. And then if you love them and you love shopping there, more power to you. I try not to unless they have something I absolutely need. That's just my thing. The box comes unpainted. The pattern does come with instructions on how to paint the box, and it comes with how to paint it, how to finish it. Like I said, I didn't follow the instructions for the finishing, but I followed the instructions for painting it exactly. You painted a certain color brown, and then you put shoe wax on it, believe it or not, to be the finisher. And then when I was done, I glued felt to the bottom of the box just to give it so it doesn't scratch up tables or shelves or whatever, and I put it on. So that's my casting a spell. I need to wash the glass because, you know, I've been finishing all day and I didn't Windex it and I see my own fingerprints and stuff. So that's how it came out. This block right here with the L in it, it actually comes with the alphabet, so you can put your own initial in it. The pattern has a B in it for Blackboard Designs, I think. So I put an L. L works for Leslie. L works for LaFleur. So anytime something gives me an initial and says, you can put the initial, I'm like, well, that works out because my last name and my first name have the same thing. Alright, so I have a lot of stash because I was at retreats. And when I go to retreats, I try to buy from everybody. Which is probably why I say I'm going to have to do this in 2 parts. For a quick second, I'm going to show what my plans are for the next weekend. And then I'm going to do a second video of stash. So people who don't like to look at the stash, that's fine. You don't have to watch the second video. That's just what I'm going to do. So let me talk about plans for a couple of things, and then I'll stop the video and then do stash. So first, this is my first year doing the Stiachalong. I've never done it before. It's very neat. It's very pop culture-y, and I really liked all the past year's patterns, so it is a mystery. You do not know what it's going to be until probably 8 weeks into it. It's a 9-week stitch along where they give you 200 to 300 stitches a week, and you kind of don't know what it's going to be. And for years past, she's given you a thread list. You knew what to buy, and so at least you knew what the colors were going to be. This year, she said pick 4 colors, and then the first release, she'll say this is going to be the main color, this is going to be the most prominent accent color, and then these two will just be accent colors. So you know which one will be your main color and which one will be your accent color. So I went through my stash, and I love Glorianas. Glorianas are my favorite threads to work with. They're my favorite silks, my favorite threads. I love them. But not many patterns call for them. And I wish more designers used them. I know they're pricey. I just wish more designers used them. I think they're a big part of the reason that my Get Crackin' by Ink Circles was one of my favorite pieces, because it was charted using Glorianas, and it only used 6 colors of Gloriana. And it was just a pleasure to stitch every stitch, and I just really loved it. So I went through my stash of Glorianas, and I pulled a couple of my 2 favorite Gloriana colors. One of them is a color that I've never stitched with over the years, because I just buy threads when I go to a store that I've never been to. If they have a thread that I like, and if I don't find a chart, I buy a thread that I like. And so I have managed to buy this one particular Gloriana 4 times. So I have 4 skeins of it and never used it. So this is my main color that I want to use. This is called Royal Plum. Isn't it pretty? So it's got teals and plums and olive greens and golds, and it's so pretty. So, and the fabric that I'm holding it up against is London Fog from Under the Sea Fabrics, and this happens to be an Opal Edinburgh. If I go with this colorway, this is the fabric I'm going to put it on. The 3 accent colors I've chosen, and I'll put this behind them or next to them so you can see, are it's a Petite Treasure Braid 34, Petite Silk Lame 64, and Petite Silk Lame 119. And I just pulled the colors from the silk. So I tried to find sparkly colors that accented the silk. So it's kind of hard to see, but quite honestly, they all match the silk pretty much perfectly. So that's one idea. The second one, this color I used it in a chatelaine, but it's really pretty and it's a really warm colorway. It is called Red Clay, and you can see it's got yellows and orange and red, and it's got this really deep, this really pretty magenta and a plum, and it's all the colors of a sunset. And the accent colors I would do with this one are Petite Treasure Braid 44, Petite Silk Lame 203, or Petite Silk Lame 175. And I would do these on autumn. Let me see, I've got a piece right here. I would do it on this autumn Opal Edinburgh, because I think the colors look really nice on it. So So that's how the colors look on that nice warm brown. I love that. Now, here's what stops me. I love both colorways, so I'm looking at it and I'm tempted to stitch it twice because I like both colorways. But I don't know how many stitches it's going to be each week. I don't know how much I'm going to do. I don't know what it's going to be. But my thought process is that if I don't love it, but I love working with the colors, I can always give them away as Christmas gifts. I'm going to wait and look at what the first pattern looks like, even though we won't know what it is, and then decide if I want to stitch one or the other or both. So that's my stitch along stuff. Tonight I plan to start, of course it's all the way at the bottom of my pile of stuff to show. Stay. Put on the hat from the Around the Holidays series from Hands On Design. I really like it. I dig the purple and the pins and everything. I already bought the pins. So, and I have most of the threads. I think I only need one, maybe two. I'm going to put them on this piece of Looking Glass. Now, if I do like I did with Oh Say Can You See, then I will stitch it 3 times. But what I would like to do is stitch it once and do the drum part, but put it on the front of a basket. And so that's my thought, but I have to so that's what I think I'm going to do. And then when I'm done, I might just be tired of it and not want to stitch any of the rest of it. But if I do, then I'll go ahead and do the pillow or the drum or both. So, but I have this cool basket I got at retreat this week that had some gifties in it that I think this would be really cool mounted on the front of. And the basket has tin on the front, like a tin plate. So when I finish this, I'm gonna put magnets on the back, and then I can put, I can switch out what's on the front of the basket. So those are my upcoming plans for stitching. I'm gonna stop this here in just a second, and then I'm going to start a second video just for the stash that I picked up this week, because there's quite a bit of it. I say quite a bit. It'll probably only take me 10 minutes to say, but I don't have 10 minutes storage space left in this video, so that's my plan. Thank you for watching, and I hope everyone has a wonderful week.